Zepbound systems that changed my life and that will change yours too. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 112 pounds the last 2.5 years of being on Zepbound, Manjaro, and Tirzepatide compound. The combination of those is because of the shortage, not at the same time. And on today's episode, one of my most requested videos, we are going to talk about GLP-1 systems that have changed my life and will change yours. I guarantee you from this video, I'm going to help you save money and save time, or the combination of both. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that was not anticipated to. I don't know why that music just played. Let's dive in. Okay, so the systems that changed my life without the accoutrement on there. We're first going to talk about the timing component of it. For Zepbound systems that have changed my life, and you can apply this to, by the way, for WEGOVY friends, SEMAGLUTIDE friends, if you're on the Tirzepatide compound, GLP-1 plus GIP. Let's dive in. The first one is I want you to know your dose. The dates are very important. This is one of the most important parts of the system to help save you time so you can reverse engineer. So it's tip number one is figuring out when is your shot date. I use Mr. Smelly marker, so it smells delicious on my page. So I'm gonna say my shot date is on Monday, just for some easy math for us and to go through, and then how we can start laser pointing out our time with it. So Monday's shot day, we know because of data and it's facts of some of this data on here. Some of it's my own personal data and some of it's actual factual data. Is that shot day, we know from the data tells us 24 to 72 hours after shot day is peak side effects and peak appetite suppression. This is very key information for you to know. For me, I don't really go along with the 72 hours. I track my data on countessofshopping.com and also in my free group, countessofshopping.com/group. There is a document that helps with tracking for you. So if you want to track your own information, I would strongly encourage you to do that. But for me, it's 24 hours to 48 hours. So it's these first 2 days where I have peak appetite suppression, but also if I get peak side effects, they're going to be peak side effects on those days. So that's Monday and Tuesday. What I want you to do is pull up your Google Calendar, or if you're an Apple, whatever Apple, I'm a Google person. Pull up your Google Calendar and put that in your planner for a color coding system. So you know when you have social events, work events, that this is when you may feel gnarly. You may have blowout diarrhea. You may have constipation. You may, you know what I mean? You may have Zepbound fatigue. We know that people get these side effects, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. And it's, what is it, like 20 to 30% depending for those different ones. So just knowing that you very well may have something on those days and plan accordingly, or you may not. But if you titrate up on a dose, say you go from Zepbound 2.5 milligrams to Zepbound 5 milligrams, this may be more intense on these days and maybe for a few weeks with that. So keeping that in mind is super, super important. So for me, this is where the money part comes in. I don't schedule big money-making business things on these days, if I can help it. Sometimes I can't control that, but things I can control and things I can't. On things I can control, I don't put peak money-making stuff for me because I will actually make less money on those days because I am not peak optimal ideal conditions for myself. And so I want to encourage you, which today I'm not a peak optimal one, but I was like, I am not putting on makeup or getting dressed up for my besties. Like literally today is going to be super cash. So you see what I'm saying? Like on days where I'm just more tired, I'm like, I'm just not. So I want to encourage you. And for me, I do less work on those days in terms of my workload. I don't plan to have heavy working days on these 2 days. Which is why when you pick your shot date is important for you. You want your shot date to fall on with your peak side effects during the work week for whatever that is for you, or on the weekend to recover. So let's keep going back over to that. So that's number one, is setting up our Google Calendar. When is our peak side effects going to be? And also peak appetite suppression. Because we are going to, the part two of that is ride the wave of appetite suppression. I'm going to eat less during these days. And I'm going to make sure I eat less during these days. So I don't want to plan to go out to a fancy dinner. If I'm having like an anniversary thing or something like that, best I can help, I'm not going to have it on those days. Because, or maybe I do want to have it on those days. That's where your strategy for you, you know yourself better than anyone else. Does it make sense on those days to have like a big birthday celebration? I'm just throwing that out there. Or some of these big things. That's why your planner is going to be your best friend with these systems, your GLP-1 systems and your Zepbound systems, by knowing when your shot day is and when these are. Now, let's keep going. We're going to talk in here about side effects and where it gets a little bit more tricky, particularly with your meal structure. I've got meal structure hacks for you. The number 4 systems for you I have worked so hard on that have helped me so much is my BIOptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough. There's a bundle set that they have right now on BIOptimizers that is on sale with BIOptimizers Magnesium, BIOptimizers Masszymes, and BIOptimizers Probiotics. There's a discount sale going on right now. I want you to run over to, and I'll link it down in the description link below, to get the bundle set plus a discount code. But the reason why these are a part of my systems and my scheduling, you guys asked my routine for the bundle set that I take. I take my Magnesium Breakthrough at nighttime. So when I go to my planner, I have a little checkbox. Did I take my magnesium at night? I personally take 2 of the Magnesium Breakthrough from BIOptimizers at night. I take BIOptimizers, that's the company I am obsessed with, because it has 7 types of magnesium in it. In there, and because they've done like over 4,000 quality control testing, like they've done a lot of stuff with, like, they're a high quality company, which is why I lean in. I'm like, I've taken magnesium that is not BIOptimizers, and I very much can feel the difference with it. I take mine at night because one of the 7 types of magnesium in there helps me to fall asleep gently and makes my sleep so much better. I used to get up in the middle of the night as one of my ZepBound side effects and have horrible sleeping. I don't have that with BIOptimizers Magnesium. So I take it around in terms of my scheduling, in terms of my systems. If I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, around 8:30, 9:30, 2 of these pills. Now the next day when I wake up for my Masszymes, those are my digestive enzymes. And so I have on my planner, by the way, I'm telling you these specific systems with my supplements. And then also with my shot date, I put those on a separate Google Calendar for like health. You can make different calendars. I just make that a different health one. So that way nobody can see it. If I don't want my family to see it, like I can be tracking all of these things and it keeps it really well organized. You may say, Elizabeth, I don't want to be that well organized. Great, then don't be. But for me, this has worked really, really well. Take the concepts, right? Take what you want, leave the rest. So the concept with the digestive enzymes with Masszymes, I take those personally at lunchtime. Now you can take Masszymes with your meal or without your meal. I'm starting to test, and I'm really, you guys know I love to test different things. I'm starting to test with Masszymes, taking it not with a meal, taking it on an empty stomach. Now, I personally have been testing this because my tummy sometimes can get weird. So I have been testing taking it on an empty stomach on my half-life dose, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But so for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm taking it not on a full stomach, but on an empty stomach because the systemic benefits. With there, it has on there, it's called systemic enzyme therapy. But the reason why I'm interested in this, of testing it this way, is because it helps reduce inflammation on an empty stomach, improving with exercise therapy, which you guys know I've been really getting into weight training hardcore. And so I want to have that exercise recovery benefits from digestive enzymes. That in addition, like because of the magnesium helps with lifting recovery, but so does digestive enzymes, which I didn't know. Like I'm learning so much about all this. So breaking down scar tissue as well, and then also supporting wound healing too by taking it on an empty stomach. With this, the whole concept of that. Now, obviously, before taking any sort of supplements, you want to talk to your healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. Nothing in this video is medical advice. Always talk to your own healthcare provider. But for me, you can do these one of 2 ways with the digestive benefits component. So there's 2 different methods you could do. I've traditionally always done the digestive benefits of taking 1 to 2 to 3 of the Masszymes with a meal. And I usually do it at lunch. So in terms of scheduling, I have my nighttime, my magnesium, Masszymes for my lunch, and then also the probiotics. I will have those. I don't have those every day, but I have those also at nighttime on an empty stomach because it helps with, let me go over for the science part of it, the digestive component with the gut microbiome optimization. And so I've been working on that too, of taking 1 capsule of the probiotics at night on an empty stomach. So that's like my scheduling with my supplements. You can use the discount code QUEEN on BIOptimizers.com. So it's BIOptimizers.com/queen. I will link that in the description link below. But with my systems, I have a system for, and it's tracking through my Google Calendar for my supplements that I take in addition to my GLP-1 medication. So going back over to my planner, I have on here already, I have one health calendar tab just devoted to like my GLP-1 medication, because we're going to keep talking about that. We have on here our peak appetite suppression, but then our lower appetite suppression. We know half-life dose is 5 days after for Tirzepatide, so Zepbound Manjaro and Tirzepatide compound, so GLP-1 GIP. Day 5, so that's Friday for my example, is half-life dose. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I am not going to be as hungry. I'm going to be I'm going to be more hungry. My appetite suppression is less, my hunger is more. So planning accordingly with that, with my meal structures. I am a very visual learner. I have to map it out like this for me visually to see, and I'm like, okay, so that means on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I probably want to have more fresh fruits and vegetables in my household. So on Thursday, my system is to get fresh fruits and vegetables. So I have it all set. I order them. I like to use Instacart. I order them on Thursday afternoon. So it's all set and ready to go on Friday, because I'm feeling hungrier and hungrier, and I want to have protein and I want to have fresh fruits and vegetables in my home for me that I love, that I enjoy, that I look forward to. And they change as the season changes. So that is my calendar with this. Now, also on this GLP-1 Google Calendar I know when my refills are going to go in. I can fill my refills every 23 days. Do you know when you can refill your refills? Very important to know, because you want to fill it as soon as you can to build, for me, a little quote stockpile. If I fill it every 28 days versus every 23 days when I am traveling for work, that 5 extra days each month buys me an extra pen or so to have in my refrigerator. So when I am traveling or whatever, I have a buffer. And when the shortages were here, that really made a big deal. That was a very big deal, filling it on that 23rd day. So for me, refilling it on my 23rd day. Also on that Google Calendar, I have also when I need to ask my healthcare provider if I need to put in for them to put in the prescription, if I have an every 90-day prescription, every 28 days, whatever. I have a reminder of when I need to reach out to my healthcare provider for them to do their part with my prescription. That is also on that Google Calendar as well. Next, I also then have a Google Calendar reminder for me to set in the queue. If I have to physically go to my pharmacy, which I do, I go pick mine up, which I'm desperately trying to find mail order delivery for me for my Zepbound prescription, but I have to drive all the way over there. It's like an hour and a half whole process, and I detest it. I have to go to Walmart, and I'm not a huge fan of our local Walmart. I love them. I love that they do my medication, and it's the cheapest place in my town that does my Zepbound prescription. But just driving there, going in the store, it's laborious, and I don't have an hour and a half out of my weekly schedule of 168 hours in a week to fritter and waste doing 168 hours in a week, and I only pick that up every 23 days. So figuring out on my Google Calendar, I put when I need to go pick that up from the pharmacy too. So you see what I'm saying? Like I have reminders pop up, and they're auto reminders. I just set them month to month to month. If for some reason it gets switched, I just simply move it on my Google Calendar with it. Now I am reverse engineering my social events and work events. I had mentioned before, work events. I have in my Google Calendar, for example, when I'm going to be going on like QVC HSN, when I have those shows. Those shows, I do tend to move my shot date. I did the last time I was on air. I was supposed to have my shot date because my schedule is physically demanding. I feel like a train runs me over after those shows because I'm up late at night. I'm up very early in the morning. Doing a live show is an energy exchange. And so I literally feel like I've been beat to a pulp after doing a bunch of the QVC HSN shows. So with that, I will not do my shot date. Now, obviously that is something I have worked through with my healthcare provider, but I'm sharing that information with you. So when you look at your planner, and same thing for me for my upcoming September shows that I have with QVC HSN, I know on there when my shot date is. I have the blessing from my healthcare provider. If I want to move my shot date back, I simply just move it each week. Like if I'm taking in the morning, I'll take it at nighttime or whatever. You see, like not making drastic time changes, But my healthcare provider, you talk to your healthcare provider, has said that's okay if I need to move my shot date. Now that takes weeks and weeks and weeks, depending on how many days you want to move it. But that's how I've been able to move my shot date. And then also reverse engineer, say, for vacations or major work trips that I know have coming up. For me, major work stuff that's coming up always every year is I'm one of the top 1% Amazon influencers. And so Prime Days for me, the July Prime Day and the October Prime Day and Black Friday for me, because I'm a live streamer and a video content producer, I don't want to be taking my shot date near those days. That for me is not optimal. I want to be near the latter end of my half-life dose, either that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, the day 5, day 6, day 7. I want to be near those for those major events. My body, you know what I mean? For me to have peak, and so this requires some planning, right? And this is where it saved me so much money. It's made me substantially more money. It's saved me a substantial amount of time, just simply having a Google Calendar to help map out these steps. Now, social situations. For me, during the holidays, and I know it's hot outside, it's like 90 some degrees today here in Virginia, but I think that it's important to talk about even just holiday planning now. Some people choose to go off the shots during the holiday. I don't. For me, I have no interest in doing that. But it's something I'm cognizant about too. Of like, I even looked. I'm like, where is my shot date? Like Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, for example. Where is my shot date relative to that? Relative to half-life dose? Because honey, I want to eat on Thanksgiving. I don't want to be completely full. Some people want to be completely full. Some people want it to fall into their peak appetite suppression. I don't. That and Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, every year we have a massive seafood extravaganza. We literally line item budget throughout the entire year for that big Christmas Eve party. It's a big deal in my family. It's something my husband and I love doing, for example. So your girl wants to eat on those days. And so planning that out now is super, super helpful in terms of satisfaction, because there are studies that are showing about, not studies, it's fact, about the dopamine hit that we don't get as much. We don't have that dopamine hit like we used to have with taking GLP-1 medication. And so with the holidays, for me, I do want to enjoy it. I don't want to go off the rails like I used to. I used to gain like more than 10 pounds every holiday season, maybe even like 20. It was crazy. Crazy, girl, crazy. And so I don't want to do that. But I do want to enjoy and savor for me. But this medication gives me the bookends to be able to do that, of where one day I can really indulge, but then also very much pick it up of where I'm having life balance with this. I'm enjoying and savoring, but I'm not going off the rails. And it's not like it used to be, where I'd be like binging and then trying to starve myself. Like none of that crazy stuff. It's healthy, balanced living. And that's what makes me so happy about these GLP-1 systems, because it naturally, just gently, naturally supports what this medication is helping me do, which is to live a healthy, balanced life. Eli Lilly tells us in our Zepbound literature, and if you're on Mounjaro, it tells us in the literature, we need to change two things about ourselves. One is our physical activity, and the other is our eating habits. And so figuring out how for you that is best, and also corresponding of what these systems that I've been talking about can best support you for your lifestyle. I'm a mom. I'm an active mom at that. I got a kid that just got back from travel soccer practice. We got a ton of stuff going on. I got to go wash his practice jersey because we need it ready for tomorrow. And it's a lot. And so, for example, on these things, also, I have help that I know, for example, for my family, I'm responsible for our family's dinners. One of our systems that I absolutely do is pick up food on these days, because my family does not have appetite suppression on those days. And I got a hungry, hot husband man and a hungry, growing 10-year-old boy that still want to eat. But I don't really. So typically I'll go pick stuff out. I got the people, it's fascinating to me on my videos I've released on the food choices that I'm choosing to eat, that my dietitian has blessed me to eat, their criticisms of it. I'm like, blow a bubble and keep it to yourself, because the food choices of picking up food and eating out, I would love to make meals at home, but I don't. And I choose to spend my finances picking up food, and some people that drives up a wall. It's fascinating. Anyways, totally off topic. I find it the most fascinating sociological experiment. But for you, for your systems, maybe that is an option if you're responsible for food choices, having freezer meals set. because you don't really want to eat. Maybe you just want to have a salad, like a protein, like some protein on a salad, or you want to have some broccolini with just like a little piece of chicken, or I don't know, like whatever works for you, whatever works for you. But for me, not having to cook on these days also is very helpful. I have found I just don't enjoy it. I don't want to be around food. If I'm nauseous, I certainly don't want to be cooking. You see what I'm saying? So for me, that's another one of my systems. I tend to pick up food on those days, or have something pre-made, or have leftovers, or tell my hot husband, babe, you're gonna have to make dinner for yourselves. My husband does so much for me. He makes my coffee, he makes my protein shakes. So I very much do like to have dinner at least sorted for my sweet family. But then on these days, if I'm gonna cook a meal, it's more so on these. My hot husband made ribs in the smoker 2 weeks ago. They were so good. I'm like, babe, don't make them earlier in the week because I can't eat them and I want to eat your famous ribs. And he only makes them 1, 2, 3 times a year. I'm like, make them over on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's also part of this too, in terms of if I have choices with it. Sometimes I don't have choices. We had my amazing dad celebrated his 75th birthday. My sister and I threw him a family birthday party last weekend. Yeah, it was last weekend. And I didn't have a choice on that day, right? Like that was the day of the party. That was the day of his birthday. Like I rolled with it. You know what I mean? So some of this, we got to be flexible. Now I said the joke to my husband, I'm going to be flexible like Nadia Comaneci. And he's like, babe, half the people probably don't know who that is. And then I was like, I'm going to be flexible like Simone Biles. And he's like, why don't you just say I'm going to be flexible like a gymnast? So I'm going to be flexible like a gymnast. 10. Do you get my Nadia Comaneci? Is anybody testing 1, 2? Does anybody get that joke? He's like, nobody's going to get that reference. And I'm like, okay, I'll work on my jokes. So I'm trying to be flexible with my systems. I have structure with them, but I'm also flexible, I'm flexible with them too, because life is going to be life and sometimes, and we got to roll with it. But overall, these have helped me, like I said, with my income, make substantially more money, knowing when I can have peak productivity. So this is the back end part of it. I had mentioned when I do less work, but let me tell you when I do more work, because your girl works. I'm a workhorse. I love to work. I love to hustle. I love working. I've worked since I was a little girl, and I love working. So for me, I will work substantially more on these days because I have the systems in place to be able to support and set up to do so. And so I think that that's important for looking at for you, if you are looking to save time and money and be productive. And for me, being a mom, being a wife, being an entrepreneur, like my time is actually money. Like literally, I know my hourly rate, my minute rate, like I know that down to like with precision on that. It's important to be able to figure out these systems that make the best sense, right? And so for some people, they're not as lasered in on this. It just doesn't make sense for them. And then for other people, of course, having these systems to help support you is really, really important. And if you have a partner that can also help support you in these too, it makes it even better. If you don't have a partner that supports you, what can you outsource out? For me, I found I actually saved money when I ordered groceries from Instacart to be delivered. Yes, I'm paying a delivery fee. There's like fees and charges, and then there's tip on top of that for Instacart to have my groceries delivered. But you know why it saves me money having my groceries delivered? I stick to a list. I don't make those extra superfluous purchases like at Costco. If you make extra superfluous purchases, it's not like an extra pack of gum. It's like an extra $100. Like, oh, let me try this lotion. Oh, let me try these new fruit snacks. Not that I'm getting fruit snacks, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's these little extra things when I go to Costco. Now I do most of my Costco shopping, if not the whole time, on my phone, unless I'm filming it for you guys. I order it directly to my house. And so ordering it directly to my house also goes back into my system that I know that it's not contingent on, oh, am I too exhausted or whatever. Because also on these exhaustion days, I don't want to do extra stuff like grocery shopping. So having stuff for me, like Instacart, very, very helpful to have that. If I didn't have, say, an Instacart, maybe having your partner help you with that side of the chores, the household chores. But outsourcing out, say, groceries, for example, or picking up food for me has been such a time saver. One of the other time savers in terms of systems, just throwing this out there, I have a business coach, Alex Hermosi and Layla Hermosi, and they talk about this a lot, about how you outsource basically if you're in the middle of an intense project, outsourcing basically everything except for that and whatever, like if you have family or partner or things like that. And for me, I'm not sacrificing my mom responsibilities, but for GLP-1 systems, can you outsource doing your laundry? I tried to do it here where I live in rural Virginia, and it did not work out well for our family structure. It's actually less time for me to do my laundry than have a laundry service come pick it up. But that is something, if you are too dang tired, is that something that you can outsource? It's not crazy amount. And as a business, I'm looking at through the lens of a business entrepreneur. So I can only speak on my experience with that. But is that something that makes sense, right? Like if you're just too tired or too whatever on those days, to outsource some of those things. So I hope these all help. I hope the calendar reminders, I hope that that's eye-opening. Just having a separate calendar for me on Google Cal with my GLP-1 refills, and when I need to talk to my healthcare provider and pick up from the pharmacy, or when if you're getting it delivered, when it's going to get delivered, to make sure someone's home for that package if you're on vacation. Because I travel a lot for work, and managing my packages for certain, refrigerations, I got to make sure I'm doing that. So those things really, really matter. So I really want to encourage you to set up systems. They're going to save you time and money. And I had guaranteed you that you would save time and money. So tell me in the comments below, what system are you going to activate? Activate! Because it's one thing to watch and listen. You haven't learned anything though. When you've learned something is when you actually implement it. So my question to you is, what are you going to implement? Because that tells me then I've taught you something and you've learned something, hopefully. And if you haven't learned something, hopefully I've helped encourage you. I'm wearing, by the way, my bluey t-shirt today, which I love, my bluey t-shirt. I pushed the little French button again. So funny. Okay, the bundle set over on BIOptimizers, I will link that in the description link below. Use the discount code QUEEN. You can stack my code on top of that bundle set discount pricing. Highly recommend. But it's linked down below, and use the discount code QUEEN. Your accountability question, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down below. And our emoji of the day is going to be, the beautiful Susan had recommended sparkles for me. And so today I'm going to take, Susan did not say this, but I'm going to say it's eagle, because we're going to fly like eagles today. And so I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. So our emoji of the day is eagle. It's my bat signal that you've watched this far in the video. And if you've watched this far in the video, you probably like my content. So I want to know you well, bestie. And you guys truly are my besties. I love our community so much. And it's also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought, as all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. Go to countessofshopping.com/group. Join my free group, my free encouragement. The Count and I are in there so much. It's like literally my husband's full-time job. Like, he helps to manage that group too. So if you want to see my hot husband, you won't see him, but he's there. My sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.